Hey everyone, hope you're all doing good and staying safe at home. Welcome to your second semester. I'll be teaching you Introduction to Sociology. Today is your first lecture. First of all, we'll be talking about the lecture outcomes, what we are going to study in this lecture. We are going to be talking about what sociology is, the sociological perspective of sociology, the theoretical perspective of sociology, the paradigms of sociology, including the structural functional theory, the conflict theory, as well as the symbolic interactionist theory. Right? After going on with the lecture, I'll be telling you what you guys need to do as an assignment. Okay, starting off with the lecture, what is sociology? The word sociology has been derived from a Latin as well as a Greek word. The Latin word socius means companion, as well as Greek words logos means study of. So combining the two words, study of companionship is sociology. In sociology, what we do is the systematic study of society and social interaction. We study people. Okay? In sociology, we study the relationship of individuals with each other. What is a society? We study the society as a whole in sociology, right? So what is a society? A society is a group of people whose members interact, reside in a definable area. So keep these points in mind. Group of people, like people whose members interact, they have to be talking to each other, they have to reside in a definable area, they have to be into a specific area. For example, people living in Pakistan, people living in Punjab, people living in a specific area together, who talking to each other, interacting with each other, and sharing a same culture. For example, people living in Punjab and in Lahore are sharing the same cultural values. As compared to the people living in Karachi, their cultural values are different from the people living in Lahore. So people living in definable area, interacting with each other and sharing the same culture makes a society. What is a culture? Culture include the group a group's shared practices, values, and beliefs. What a culture is, people in living into a culture have the same set of beliefs, have the same set of social values, have the same set of practices for which they follow, right? For example, taking an example of Punjab, of Lahore, maybe, yeah, people living in Punjab have the same set of values almost as compared to people living in maybe Karachi, maybe KPK. People living in Punjab are food lovers, yeah. People living in Karachi are not that much into food. No offense to anyone, but in general, as compared to people living in Lahore. So, people living in a specific group sharing the same values, same practices, having the same beliefs about a particular thing makes a culture, right? So, what do sociologists do? They do research based on society. The people who are doing research based on society are known as sociologists, right? So sociologists have two perspectives for doing research of a specific society, of a specific culture. People living in a specific culture, they have two perspectives for doing their research. One is social perspective and the other one is theoretical perspective. Such sociologists which look at things from individual point of view, from social point of view, are known as the people following social perspective, the sociologists following social perspective. For example, if they have to conduct any study or any analysis, they'll go to individuals, they'll go in the society. Okay, they'll talk to people and ask their viewpoint about a specific thing. While in terms of theoretical perspective, the sociologists base their study on history, on the on research. They'll draw their conclusion based on theories rather than on individuality and the current situation. They'll base their facts on theories. So going into the sociological perspective in detail, Sociologists study cultures, behaviors, and social factors of modern age and study social interaction. Yeah, the sociologists who believe in sociological perspective, they study social interaction, how individuals behave with each other, what is their society like, how do they behave, how people of a specific age behave, of modern how people of modern age are different from those living in the old age, how people of 70 who are 70 years old are different from the ones who are 20 years old, right? Sociologists use social imagination as how individuals understand their own and others past in relation to the history and social culture, which means the social imagination is like how we understand our parents, how we understand our elderly people, that what they believe in is their is their history, what they believed in, their the beliefs of our parents, of our elderly are different from ours because they are living they're from a past time, they're from not from present time, they're not of modern age, right? So, sociologists using sociological perspective will consider individual reaction to particular situation rather than theories. The sociologists believing in sociological perspective believe in individual and believe that individuals and society are inseparable. They can't be separated from each other. They are like one has a impact on the other and vice versa. For example, according to sociologists believing in sociological perspective, they say that there can be no dance without dancer. Like if there is no concept of dance, there will be no dancers to dance. But if there are no dancers, then who is going to dance? So one thing is reciprocative to the other thing. They are inseparable. They can't be separated from each other. They both affect each other equally. Right? Individuals shape the behavior of the society. This term is known as figuration. Each individual has a role in shaping the behavior of a society. I have a role in shaping the behavior, as you have a role, every one of you has a role in shaping the society in which we are living today, right? This is called figuration. Then comes the theoretical perspective, theory. What's theory? The practical, the theoretical aspect, the history. Scientists have done research upon a topic on which they have based the theory on, the fact on. Theory is a way to explain different aspects of social interaction. They have the history tells this, right? So that is a theory they made from the history. For example, Emile Durkheim, the scientist, what he did, that he studied the social solidarity between two groups. He studied that people living in two groups have different rates of suicide based on their history. He studied their history, and the people with high faith and high religious beliefs were the ones who had low suicidal rates, while the ones who were more into not who were not into religion and had no faith were more into suicide. So these are the theories he made after studying the individuals. What now the latest sociologist, if he'll study a specific area, he'll go into the theory that people having belief will not do suicide. So he'll base his results on this theory which Emile Durkheim proposed. Okay, got it? So these the theoretical perspective, they base their facts and their evidences on the theory and the history, while in sociological perspective, they base their facts and beliefs and the results on the current individual minds and the current individual interaction. Right? So in terms of theoretical perspective, there are two kinds of theory. Macro level, the theory is made on a huge level for a huge population, while micro level, the theory is made on smaller population. The research which has been conducted on smaller level, the theory which has been made on a particular group. Okay, what are paradigms? Paradigms are, for example, if you are studying a specific topic, you're not just going to get the result of that topic. There are maybe 2 to 3 factors attached with them which will impact the experiment, right? Theoretical, which are called the theoretical framework. For example, if we take the example of people doing suicide, and the scientists found that people with strong beliefs, they are not into suicide that much. So along with finding that people who have strong belief are not into suicide, the scientist, he also found many other factors, including that people of this age had strong belief. Maybe the younger ones were not into faith that much, the older ones were more into religion and faith, so there was less suicide in the older ones. So maybe these factors, the rich people are of less faith, the poor people have more faith. So maybe age, gender, maybe social class, there are many different factors which will combine to make this theory that people having strong belief will not go for suicide. The frameworks, the 3 to 4 perspectives along with faith studied are known as the paradigms of our research. Yeah, I hope you understand that. So there are 3 types of sociological paradigms which have been studied by scientists. One is structural functionalism, second is conflict theory, and the third one is symbolic interactionism. What is structural functional theory? This theory says that this theory sees the society as a structure with interrelated parts designed to meet biological and social needs. According to this theory, according to structural functional theory, society is like a body, human body, where one part is not present, the whole body is not going to function, right? And according to this theory, the body parts, individuals, human is the body part of the society. So what he says, that what this theory says, that human body, the society is like a human body, everyone is interrelated to each other, everyone is connected to each other, and the society cannot be formed without individuals. By parts of society, Herbert Spencer was the scientist who proposed this theory, the sociologist. Okay, he said that the social institutions, which were also the body parts, were the economic, political, religious factors included, which every individual has factors, religious factors of his own. All these factors combine to make social structural functional theory, to make a society, right? Later on, his theory, the theory was supported by Damkhan, who said that the part of society are interdependent. This means each part influences the other, right? Durkheim was the supporter of Herbert Spencer's theory, which is structural functional theory. This scientist Durkheim, he said that yes, Herbert Spencer is right. Every part of the society influences the other, because the society is like a human body where each part of the body work together and make a healthy body and make a healthy society, right? So what are social facts? They consider individuals as social facts. They don't consider any factor as an individual. They consider people as social facts. What are social facts? Values, morals, beliefs, customs, fashions, which individuals follow, right? All these social facts combine to make a healthy society, according to this theory, according to structural functional theory. I hope you understand. It's very simple, that just keep this thing in mind, that parts of a body join to make a healthy human being. So according to Herbert Spencer, individual combine to make a healthy society, and by individuals he means social facts. Individuals, social facts are the moral values, beliefs which individuals have. All the values and beliefs, morals combine to make a healthy society. The second theory is conflict theory. What this theory says is that see society as made up of individuals who must compete for social, political. According to this theory, every individual in this world has his own opinion, right? So every individual, they compete with each other. I have a different opinion for life, you have a different opinion for life. So what we are going to do, we are going to discuss our opinions and make a conflict, or we will solve the conflict and make a stable society where everyone's opinion will matter, right? Everyone has their own separate opinions. Karl Marx was the early supporter of conflict theory. Karl Marx is a very important person. We will study Karl Marx in detail later on in the chapters. Who else supported this theory? Another German sociologist, George Simmel. He said that conflict can help to integrate and stabilize a society. Obviously, when you have a conflict, not that you are going to fight over a conflict. When you have a conflict, you can talk to the other person and solve the conflict and have a mutual ground on which both of you guys agree. So you are going to stabilize the society by making a way out of everything. The third theory, symbolic interactionist theory. What this theory says, that every human being in this world has a separate perspective, have a separate meaning to everything. My perspective looking at something would be different than your perspective looking at something. That is based on my beliefs, my values, and your perspective is based on your beliefs and your values and your family values, right? According to this theory, yeah, so this theory basically says that every person in the society has their own values. People interact with each other based on the symbols, the values they share. For example, in every part of the world, in any part of the world, wherever you will find a Muslim, you will find him saying assalamu alaikum. Our way of greeting is different from other people, so we recognize a Muslim anywhere in the world by his way of greeting, way of saying salam, or way of saying way of putting any gesture that would be different from any Chinese or any Indian. Maybe, yeah, people of India, wherever they'll go, they'll say namaste, or they'll find each other because of their symbolic interactionism. They know the symbols, they know their symbols were common between them, who will make it easier for them in order to interact and communicate with each other into the community, right? The Chinese, they greet each other by bending down. So wherever you will see a Chinese bending down, the other will recognize that yes, he's from China, because our way of greeting is similar. Yeah. So the three theories we have studied are structure functional theory, conflict theory, as well as symbolic interactionist theory. Coming to the assignment. What you have to tell me that what is the impact of society in shaping a culture. You know the culture of Pakistan, you know the culture of wherever you are living. You have to write what is your culture. Just tell me what is your culture, what is the impact of every individual in shaping up the culture. You keep yourself in mind that how you have impacted your area, the people living around you, how you have impacted them in making a culture, in shaping a culture, right? So see you guys in the next lecture. Thank you so much.